Nearly 15% plunge. That's got to hurt. What's your response to the investor reaction today?
Well, thanks for having me, Emily. We had a strong start to the year with 32% ads growth, 20% MDAU growth. We had an analyst day in February where we laid out goals for 3 years from now, $7.5 billion of revenue and 315 million MDAU. No changes to those goals. We made good progress this quarter, but we've got more work to do.
So are investors missing something? Is that what you think?
Well, this may be a question of time frame. We feel like we made really good progress this quarter, but remember, 85% of our ads revenue is brand related, and brand got off to a slower start in 2021 than we would have liked. And although it was strong in March, it wasn't as strong in January and February. Direct response and our map advertising in particular was very strong throughout the quarter. It accelerated on a year-over-year basis from Q4's 50%. That just wasn't enough to carry the day. We did come in towards the high end of the revenue guidance that we provided for Q1, and we provided guidance for Q2 that reflects a range of outcomes. The March strength that we saw would reflect the top half of that range that we guided to for revenue for Q2.
So given how much you rely on brand advertising, that means you miss all of the travel, all of the retail ads that Facebook and Google are cleaning up on, especially as we come out of the pandemic. Do you have the necessary targeting data to do more of that? I mean, how do you change that?
Well, we have really unique signal at Twitter. We know what you care about in the moment that you're on the service, the topic or event that brought you to Twitter, the follower graph of all the things that you want to learn about while you're on Twitter. And that's really powerful for advertisers. It means that if you're Samsung and you're launching the new version of the Galaxy phone, you can run a campaign in 30 countries and have over 100 million impressions where people are learning about your device. If you're Pepsi, you take over Twitter on the day of the Super Bowl every year, and your impression growth was 40% from where it was last year. It's different signal than what you might get from other services, and that's actually great because it means that it's unique in how we can share that with advertisers.
Jack said he hoped to start testing a subscription product very soon. What kind of product are we talking about? Is this a newsletter, and how soon?
Well, you can think of two different examples of where there will be subscription opportunities on Twitter over time. The first is we want to help content creators get paid. There we'll facilitate a transaction. We'll call it super follows. And I could follow Emily Chang, and when she has premium tweets, I would get access to them because I paid the price that Emily set. The second would be where Twitter provides a premium service to somebody who's using Twitter today and seeing ads where they could get access to a feature that somebody else might not, and where they'd pay us for it. We'll test and learn around both of those over the course of this year. I'm excited to see them roll out soon.
Ooh, I'm excited about new possibilities for new Emily Chang revenue. Bloomberg broke a story that Twitter looked at buying Clubhouse at a $4 billion valuation. Of course, you've got Twitter Spaces, but why didn't you do that deal?
Well, we're really excited about the opportunity around audio chat rooms on Twitter. It's a real natural extension of the way people already use Twitter. It's live conversation. It's finding people who care about the same topics as you do, who you may not have known or been able to find if it weren't for this space. It could be around the NFL draft, as we saw Spaces last night. It could be the new version of a show. Netflix did one for one of their series last week. It could be the after party for the Grammys, which you saw last month. These are great examples, and I'm sure we'll see more as well. If you just step back and think about M&A for a second, we always want to be dispassionate about whether we build something that's critical to our priorities or whether we bring in a team or technology or a whole business that helps us better address that opportunity faster. We bought over 20 companies over the last few years, and we'll continue to be thoughtful about M&A going forward.
So 30 seconds left, Ned. You and I did a Twitter Spaces together. There was quite an audience there. How do you plan to monetize Twitter Spaces?
We'll figure out monetization over time. Right now, we're really focused on just getting the experience right, because what we found since the beginning of Twitter is if you give people a good experience, the monetization opportunities will follow, whether it's sponsorship or tipping or other opportunities. I'm certain those will unfold if we can give you a great experience when you do a space with me again.
And, I know you've repeatedly said there was no such thing as a Trump bump, but how do you continue to add new users and fast? Quickly without that?
Well, we added 7 million MDAU from Q4 to Q1. We added over 30 million on a year-over-year base in Q1. As we come out of the global pandemic, hopefully, as we lap a year where there was a lot of conversation around the presidential election in the United States, it's a great opportunity for people to see all the entertainment, all the sports, all of the investing and other topics that people are talking about on our service. Those are such a really big part of what people come to Twitter for. And they're a great opportunity for people to be a part of a conversation, hear another side of a debate. Remember, the US is 20% of the people who use our service. Politics is just one small part of this broader conversation. There's so many other great things that are happening on Twitter today.